Hello movie maniacs, how's life treating you? Today I'm going to break down a Korean supernatural horror action movie called Holy Night, Demon Hunter, which just hit theaters in 2025. This movie packs in action, horror, supernatural twists, and a lot of wild moments. It's pretty much a roller coaster ride from start to finish. And hey, if you enjoy movie explanations like this, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn on the bell icon so you don't miss any of the upcoming updates. Alright, let's not waste any more time and jump straight into the video. The story begins with a neuropsychiatrist named Young Won. She talks about her younger sister, Yoon-seo, whose psychological condition had gotten really bad. Because of this, Yoon-seo was being monitored with a smart home system and behavioral cameras. On this day, it was the 34th day of observation. Her condition started after their mother passed away from cancer. When their mother died, Yoon-seo moved into a remote house. But along with grief, she carried the stress of her mental state, and all of this became the reason for her breakdown. Later, Yoon-seo is placed inside a machine designed to monitor her psychological behavior. But suddenly, something terrifying happens. She disappears for a moment, only to reappear right in front of them. Then she begins laughing in a strange, unnatural way. That eerie laughter marks the intro of the movie. From here, we're introduced to a group called Holy Night, a team of demon hunters. Among them are two members, Kim and Sharon, and their leader, Ba Woo. Ba Woo possesses superhuman strength. Sharon has spiritual powers that allow her to sense demons and spirits. And Kim, while having no special powers, holds terrifying amounts of knowledge. A detective soon arrives with a man whose daughter, Seohyun, has gone missing for days. The man had already hired detectives to find her, but something strange happened. Two of them ended up dead, and one was left in critical condition. The detective explains that they need to find the girl. He brings the case to Ba Woo, who agrees to take it. The father had brought money as well, so after handing it over, he leaves. The detective then takes his share, a commission, since he's the one who usually brings clients to them. With that settled, the Holy Night team sets out on their mission. Meanwhile, the news reports a growing wave of bloody murder cases across Seoul and other regions. People are terrified. The murders are being carried out by a group. CCTV footage shows a man involved, but his face is disturbingly inhuman, with demonic eyes. This same footage is being reviewed by the police chief, who is joined by Father Marco, a priest who also happens to be a doctor. Marco has the ability to separate the supernatural from science, to determine whether something is demonic possession or simply a psychological issue. The chief tells him that in his 30 years of police service, he has never seen anything like this. Father Marco explains that it's the work of a cult group. They're summoning demons in order to gain superhuman powers. Back with the Holy Night team, they arrive at a location filled with criminals. Among them, a girl gives Ba Woo information about the cult. She tells him the ritual is happening inside a hall, and it's being performed on Seohyun, the missing daughter. The team enters. Ba Woo unleashes his strength, brutally fighting the cult members who were filled with dark energy. At the same time, Kim records everything on video. Sharon rushes to perform an exorcism on Seohyun, who was partly possessed by a demon. She wasn't completely taken over, so Sharon puts all her effort into saving her. Seohyun's eyes turn white, but finally, Sharon manages to drive the demon out. Kim notices that every cult member had a strange symbol behind their ears, marking their identity. After the fight, Ba Woo sets fire to the ritual objects, and the team leaves the scene. The focus shifts back to Jung Won, who is now in the hospital, where Father Marco is also present. She goes to check on her sister Yoon-seo, deeply worried about her. Jung Won also reviews video footage of her sister, showing Yoon-seo completely out of control. On the other side, we see Ba Woo. It's revealed that he's been talking about building an orphanage, showing a softer side of his life. Just then, Kim and Sharon arrive. Kim informs him about the tattoo they found on the cult members, and the team agrees that sooner or later, they'll track down the leader of this cult. The scene shifts to their office, where Jung Won is already waiting. She came seeking help, sent by Father Marco. Ba Woo asks if Choi sent her, but she quickly explains it was Marco. The moment Ba Woo hears Marco's name, he refuses to help. He says their team doesn't work for that side. Jung Won then offers him money, but he tells her she'd be better off donating it to the hospital. With that, he walks away. Before leaving, Jung Won hands Sharon a flash drive containing videos of her sister. She asks her to watch the footage first, and then decide if she truly wants to help. Later that night, Jung Won is seen watching old videos of Yoon-seo. It's clear how much she misses her sister the way she used to be. On the CCTV, she notices Yoon-seo is not in bed. Panicked, she rushes to check her, but the bed is empty. Suddenly, Eun-seo appears right behind her, slowly moving closer. When Jung-won turns, there's nothing. She looks forward again and Eun-seo is lying in bed, as if nothing happened. Meanwhile, Jung-won meets Father Marco again. He admits he doesn't know much about exorcism, which is why he sent her to Ba-woo in the first place. Jung-won tells him that Ba-woo refused, but she insists she just wants to save her sister. Elsewhere, Kim approaches Ba-woo to ask about Sharon. Soon Sharon arrives as well. Kim suggests they should watch the flash drive videos, but Ba-woo dismisses the idea. Instead, he hands both of them their salaries. Kim complains that the rising deaths in the city are making their job harder and asks if hell raised their pay. Before Ba-woo can answer, Father Marco arrives. It's the first time he's seen Ba-woo in 10 years. Ba-woo and Marco talk. Marco admits he sent Jung-won, but Ba-woo turned her away. Marco insists Eun-seo's condition is truly serious and that she needs their help, but Ba-woo refuses to get involved. He reminds Marco of the past because of Marco's mistakes. Many lives were lost. Sacrifices were made, even children. Worst of all, Lucifer himself was unleashed. What exactly happened back then isn't revealed yet, but Ba-woo makes it clear he will never work with Marco again. Later, Kim is watching the flash drive footage. Sharon joins him and reminds him of something. She says 3 years ago their boss, Ba-woo, saved them from Lucifer. Without him, they would all be dead. Maybe they were spared for a reason, she says, and that reason is to help others. That's why she believes they should help Eun-seo. Kim agrees. On the video, Eun-seo is seen growing increasingly violent. Her strange behavior intensifies, and soon, she starts harming herself. All of it is caught on her home's CCTV. Meanwhile, Ba-woo reflects on everything and finally decides he will help. He sits down to watch the videos himself. In one clip, 2 workers enter Eun-seo's house while Jung-won is outside. They stay inside for a while, and when they finally come out, Ba-woo notices something chilling. Behind both of their ears is the same symbol, the exact same mark from the cult members. This made it clear that everything happening was connected to the cult. They had a purpose, even though Jung-won had no idea what it was. The team begins to suspect that all of it traces back to Archbishop Lucifer, who might be the mastermind behind this satanic. Meanwhile, Marco explains the past to Jung-won why Ba-woo despises him so much. Ba-woo grew up with him in an orphanage run by Sister Angela. Among the children, there was a boy named Joseph. Out of all the kids, only Ba-woo and Joseph were special. Ba-woo had superhuman strength, while Joseph had the gift of drawing demons out of people and saving them. Most children feared Joseph, but Ba-woo was close to him. They were like brothers, even though Joseph was 3 years older. Ba-woo always protected him and cared for him deeply. Joseph wanted to become an exorcist priest, and he was walking that path. Ba-woo, on the other hand, eventually left the orphanage. He started earning money through the underworld, but he gave most of it back to support the orphanage. Every Christmas, Ba-woo returned to visit. But 15 years ago, on Christmas, everything changed. Joseph summoned a demon. The ritual went horribly wrong, and Sister Angela, along with the other children, died. Everyone believed Ba-woo had died too, but he survived. That tragedy filled him with guilt because he couldn't save anyone. Since then, he's lived with a burning desire for revenge. The person he once called his brother had betrayed everyone. Joseph went down a dark path, feeding on people's lives to grow stronger in evil power. Bae-woo never knew where he went, and Marco, he suspected the truth, but never told anyone. Marco could have stopped Joseph, but he didn't. For Ba-woo, that makes Marco just as responsible for unleashing Lucifer. Later that night, Ba-woo calls Jung-won. He agrees to meet. Ba-woo, Kim, and Sharon sit with her and reveal what they've learned. The same people who kept visiting her home and even the hospital were part of the cult. The symbol behind their ears was proof. They were the ones who summoned a demon into Eun-seo. These weren't ordinary people. They were Satan worshippers who harmed others and served the path of darkness. Some weren't even fully human anymore. They had become hosts for demonic energy, their bodies carrying black power. It was the same concept we've seen in The Exorcist, where demons take over priests. Desperate, Jung-won begs them to save her sister. The team finally goes to see Eun-seo. Her condition is terrifying. Sharon tries to question her about the demon inside her, but Eun-seo stays silent, scared. Suddenly, she bursts into laughter and climbs onto the bed. Sharon begins chanting an enchantment. Eun-seo screams in pain, but the exorcism continues. Then she collapses onto the floor. Ba-woo picks her up and lays her back on the bed, but Eun-seo loses control. With a surge of power, she throws everyone across the room, then vanishes. They rush to the CCTV monitors, but Eun-seo's image shows up on every screen at once. Sharon focuses her spiritual powers to track her down. The team prepares to search, but as they move out, Eun-seo unleashes chaos. She frees the other psychiatric patients, who block their way. Ba-woo steps forward, taking them down one by one, clearing the path. Meanwhile, Eun-seo had already made it outside, with Jung-won following right behind her. But suddenly, Eun-seo vanished into the darkness, as if someone had pulled her away. Jung-won searched for her, and finally spotted her standing in the middle of the road. As Jung-won rushed toward her, Eun-seo collapsed and lost consciousness. Jung-won bent down to lift her, but just then, a speeding truck came straight at them. It would have crushed them, but the Holy Night team arrived just in time and saved them. They quickly carried Eun-seo to their vehicle and took her back to her house. Since the house was in a deserted area, there was no risk of anyone else getting hurt. There, they tied Eun-seo to a chair and drew a salt circle around her so she couldn't cross it. Kim started recording everything on camera while Sharon began the ritual. The demon inside her writhed in pain, but it was still extremely powerful. Suddenly, the lights dimmed and the house was consumed by darkness, clear proof that dark forces had entered. These forces were the cult worshippers who had broken into the house. Ba-woo went after them and one by one took them down. When he returned to the room, they discovered that somehow Jung-won had become possessed. They quickly restrained her and brought her into another room. It didn't make sense she was inside the salt circle, which should have protected her. How did the demon still manage to possess her? Sharon concentrated and realized there was something hidden behind the wall. She peeled back a wall covering and found several demonic symbols etched there. That was the real source of the demon's power. The house itself was cursed. Sharon began weakening the power of those symbols when suddenly Eun-seo screamed. Everyone rushed to her, and she claimed she felt as though something had left her body, and she was starting to feel normal again. Hearing this, Jung-won tried to approach her, but the team held her back. They knew the demon was still inside, only pretending to be gone, manipulating her. And they were right, the demon hadn't left. It was actually targeting Jung-won, hoping to possess her instead, since she would be a stronger, more suitable host. The demon also preyed on Ba-woo's guilt, twisting his emotions until Ba-woo lost control and began attacking. But instead of hitting the demon, he was strangling Sharon. She managed to break free and attempted another ritual, but the demon tried to manipulate her too. Suddenly, it pulled her spirit into another dimension. Her body remained in the house, but the demon showed her a nightmarish world. Sharon did its name, but the demon refused. When she returned to the real world, she began forcing it to reveal its identity. That's when the demon took Eun-seo's form, begging Jung-won for help. It was exploiting her emotions, and this time, it worked. Jung-won stepped across the salt line, erasing the circle's protection. The demon immediately surged to its peak power and grew stronger than ever. The team searched desperately, but the demon was right there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for its moment. It struck them down and disappeared. Jung-won tracking it through the CCTV feed, but suddenly all the monitors shut off. While searching near a bookshelf, it toppled toward her, but Ba-woo rushed in and pulled her away just in time. Moments later, they heard Kim screaming. The demon had lifted him into the air, but dropped him as the others arrived. Clearly, something was controlling the events from within. That's when Jung-won remembered the cult members she met earlier had disguised themselves and asked her about a warehouse. Realizing the connection, Ba-woo headed to the warehouse, where a large group of worshippers was performing a ritual to summon the demon. This was the source of everything. Meanwhile, Sharon discovered the demon's true name, Asmodeus. If you've seen the Paranormal Activity film, you'll recognize Asmodeus. And if you want me to cover that movie, let me know in the comments, because it explains Asmodeus' powers in much more detail. Back in the story, the team finally confronted the demon, still inside Eun-seo's body. They tried to stop it, but it knocked them unconscious. During the fight, the demon attempted to possess Ba-woo, but instead of resisting, Ba-woo allowed it in only to turn the tables. He wrestled control, unlocked a new power, and used it against the demon. At the same time, another worshipper attacked Kim. Kim struggled, but the man was overpowering him until Ba-woo stepped in and finished him off. Soon after, Eun-seo appeared again, but the demon was still inside her. At first, it seemed she was free, but then a dark portal opened, pulling her in. The demon tried to drag her into hell itself. The team held on to her, refusing to let go. Ba-woo unleashed his full power, striking the portal with a single punch that sealed it shut. Asmodeus was forced back into hell and could no longer enter their world through Eun-seo. She finally began to recover, free from possession. In the end, it became clear that this was Asmodeus and the devil's grand plan, to possess humans and rule the earth. But for now, the threat was stopped. Later, we see that Ba-woo has opened an orphanage of his own, while the team continues their mission to fight evil. The film closes with the group arriving at another location, facing even more devil worshippers. Because Asmodeus isn't the only one, there are many other demon princes waiting to be summoned. The team charges into battle, and that's where the movie ends. So, friends, that was the story of Holy Night, the Demon Hunter. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and drop a comment telling me if you'd like to see an explanation of paranormal activity. I'll see you in the next video with another story. Until then, bye-bye.